Hey everybody, it's the Catman and Korrin Kammer here with a YouTube cast, podcast, Toddcast of Datalore.
I thought you were about to say podcat. I'm not even kidding.
Podcast. Oh, that was a good
I,
one.
um, all right, so Datalore. Okay, yeah, so you mentioned the sneezing scene before we jumped on,
Yeah.
and I literally wrote down in my notes, ask you what that was. Can you explain it? Because I was so
Oh,
confused. I was like, I get he's trying to be human, but I'm like,
yeah. So the Star Trek. I noticed there's a bunch of this in this particular episode where the writers keep putting these things in where you think, oh, this is going to be important later, but it
yeah,
isn't.
yeah. I thought, okay, so I remember because obviously, I've seen that episode before.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh, that must be a thing that happens later.
Yeah.
But really, it was just a thing to call back to the fact that Laura is more human-like.
Yeah.
But they never mentioned sneezing, so I was like, couldn't they use a better example?
Yeah.
Sneezing
Like
is so stupid.
yeah, because Lore points out the differences.
Yeah,
It says he can use contractions and all this other stuff, and they could have had a thing like at the beginning where Picard and Data are doing a play, and Picard and Data has to say something, and like in somebody's weird voice with a whole bunch of contractions, but he can't do it or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly. That would have been better.
Um, so what a lot of this is, and I bet most of the audience doesn't know what this is called. This is called Chekhov's gun, which has nothing to do with Star Trek. Does not have
No, I know
anything to do with.
Chekhov's gun. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that's where.
I think most people know what that is.
Yeah.
That,
Well, in
you
case
know.
there's anybody listening, the two people that listen to this, if there's anybody that does not know what Chekhov's gun is, that's when something specifically it's from a play or something where a gun is shown in the first act, but it's never used later. And so the rule is if you show something like a gun or Data sneezing, that should have something to do with the story. It just shouldn't just be something that's there for no particular reason. There's a really good one. Remember when Data shows Doctor Crusher how to turn himself off or how to turn him off? He has that button on the back of his
Yeah,
back.
that also
Yeah,
really, really pissed me
yeah,
off.
because you think, oh, Laura's gonna okay,
She's gonna run up to him and turn him off,
yeah,
man.
or Laura's gonna turn off Data. And so when they meet in that room,
Well, wait, Laura did turn off Data.
yeah, but he didn't use the button.
Wait, I thought he used the button.
No, he didn't use the button. He gave Data a drink, and
Yeah,
Data drank it,
yeah.
and
But
that
then when
shut
he
him
was on the
off.
ground,
Yeah,
but when he was on the ground, Laura then shut him off using the button.
I might have missed that because I might have. I think I was just so blown away that Data drank something
Yeah, I know. It
for
was
no
how
reason. Like I didn't think he could drink anything. Like where does that
dude,
go?
dude. To tell you the truth, right now when we're talking, I was trying to remember another time we did a drink or ate. I'm
Yeah,
like, there probably was another time,
yeah.
but I can't think of it for some reason.
I don't think he's ever drank or eaten except for this one time. This one time to get knocked out by Lore.
God, that scene was really dumb. And also,
Yeah,
just all the scenes with Data and Laura, Data comes across as incredibly dumb.
yeah. Well, he is dumb
Well, I know
because
he's dumb,
because
but come
because
on,
he's been
Laura's
around.
so evil.
Yeah, he's been like Data's been around for like 17 years around humans, and it's only now that he decided he's going to start practicing sneezing. Like he had 17 years to start practicing, and it's not like he goes to sleep. He's got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that he could practice sneezing, and right now is when he starts doing it. That is very weird.
I want to go through what this episode is really quick,
Hmm.
just because
And
I
yeah,
bet
nobody
no
knows what
one,
we're talking about.
yeah, because no one that's watching this actually watched Star Trek. The two
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that
They're
ran
asking
into
why is
this.
there a mannequin head is on this picture? What why is Data gonna kiss this mannequin head?
Okay, so Data, which is an android, basically they find out the planet that he was made on. They run into it or some shit. I can't even remember if they ran into it or tracked it down, but it was completely destroyed 30 years ago. which I kind of dig as a
Mhm.
concept. It was
Yeah.
completely annihilated. They don't know why, but the race that was there created the technology that can make his positronic brain,
Mhm.
which is like something that no
Well,
other race figured out how to do.
well, not the race. It's Dr. Noonien soon.
Well, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. He was the one.
But then later it turns out everybody can just make advanced AI. It turns out the ship's computer can just make advanced AI that's smarter than Data just by asking it to.
Wait, what are you talking about?
There's an episode way later.
Uh,
I don't know which season it is where Data's doing Sherlock Holmes in the holodeck, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
I like that episode. Yeah.
and then LaForge he says, "Hey holodeck, make a character or make a character or something like that that can beat Data." And then the
Oh,
holodeck just creates Moriarty, who's smarter than Data, and it
but
just does
that's
it. It just does it without, and all it does is like give a brownout to the ship just a little bit, like the power goes out just for a little bit, and then goes back to normal. So it turns out that Noonien Soon just did it the hard way. He could have just asked the holodeck to do it for him.
yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that episode, but I assume that's kind of like I don't know, I can't quite remember exactly everything that happened in that episode, but I assume it's kind of like a computer that's really good at chess or something, where it's just good at that one thing. But
No, it was actually so smart that he was able to get out of the holodeck.
yeah, you're right, you're right. I now sort of remember
It's
that.
something like that. Like I can't remember how he got out of the holodeck,
Yeah, I
but he
can't
did
remember
it, and they had to
either.
trick. And they had to
That
trick him.
process
He
me.
was so smart. They had to trick him to make him think he left the ship,
Yeah, that was really stupid to me. It also made no sense.
and they
Like,
trapped him in the Matrix.
I mean, that has so many problems that goes beyond just the
Yeah,
brain part.
yeah. Like
But,
you think if a holodeck, if the ship's computer on the Enterprise
uh,
can make something more advanced than Data, like there should be like billions and trillions of datas all over Earth and all the other planets. Because
mhm.
presumably there isn't just like the Enterprise does not have the only supercomputer in the entire Federation.
Yeah.
Like there's probably bigger ones elsewhere.
Well,
And
let me hey, let me finish my
oh yeah,
summary.
yeah, we already got off track.
So
We're
anyway, so yeah,
started.
so it can make these robots, these androids or whatever. And so
Yeah,
when they go there, they find one that looks and sort of acts like Data, except this one seems a little bit better at acting
yeah,
human. He's sort of a smartass. He sort
yeah.
of fakes things and he makes jokes, something that Data doesn't do.
Hmm.
And so they bring it back to the ship, and then Lord causes a bunch of trouble. And then we'll save the ending for when we finish
Yeah.
talking about it. But dude, you know what else I loved about the
Hmm.
episode was that they had no problem giving this uh life form that they don't fully trust. No
Yeah.
one fully trusts it. Access to everything.
Yeah.
Just remember when Data's like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, and it's everything that the ship
Yes.
can do and everything it does and everything it's ever done
Yeah.
and how to do it."
There's
And
no
he's like, "Can I
security.
look at it?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no
no
security.
security.
Like anybody could walk into engineering if they felt like it. In fact, little kids have walked right into engineering,
Yep.
into next to the warp core, next to all that hot plasma, and they just walk right up to it. That seems like a dangerous thing.
That was like driving me nuts throughout the episode. I'm like, why are they giving this thing so much freaking freedom?
Yeah.
And plus, he's a genius, so he could like
Yeah.
figure anything out. And
Yeah.
then they go, wait, what? Wait, there's trouble on the ship?
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, the thing is,
Huh?
so it could have turned out that Lore wasn't evil. Like
Mhm.
he's just evil because there wouldn't be an episode if he wasn't evil. If it just turned out
Yeah.
he was a good guy, and he's like, all right, everybody, now you got two datas,
Okay, can
Data
I
and
tell you
Lore.
something?
Yeah.
This was such a missed opportunity too, because when he trades spots with Data,
Hmm.
when he like knocks him out or whatever, and then goes, "Hi, I'm Data, everyone."
Yeah.
Um, Holy shit, dude. This should have been a two-parter episode, and
Hmm.
for the first part, they should have not told the audience that he
Oh
traded
yeah.
spots. I
Yeah.
was like, why did they tell us that? They
Yeah.
could have totally freaked us out for a while, man, and made us think that that was Data.
Well, that's probably because they wanted to make Wesley the hero, and so we had to know that he like we because if he just was acting weird around Data, we would think, oh, that's just Wesley being a big jerk.
Yeah,
And
but
he,
that would have
they,
been fun.
yeah, but and also this was made in the late '80s,
Yeah.
and this reminded me of horror movies where only the teenagers know that there's some monster running around and nobody believes them.
Yep. Yep.
And I bet that one of the writers like saw some horror movie right before writing this episode and said, "Yeah, let's do that in this episode." But the monster but it's the invasion of the body snatchers, but without the body snatchers, with an android,
Oh
and
man.
also the crystalline entity.
I
You
can't
know,
believe that's another one where Wesley saves everything. I was
yeah.
just like, Jesus.
You
Yeah.
know, the thing is, he never actually tells anybody he thinks Laura has replaced Data.
Mm-hmm.
He just says he doesn't want to go with Data.
Yeah, he's
But
just acting weird for a while.
yeah, but then later on, like Riker somehow knows that Wesley thought Laura replaced Data. It's like just it's. I guess he just explained it off screen while they were walking down to the room where Laura had knocked out Data.
Wait, I thought that even when that happened, Riker still acted like he didn't believe him or something. I don't know.
No,
I
he
thought
he
there was two
believed him.
minutes.
He believes him. And so Laura does that thing where somebody lies, and to make the lie, where they think making the lie more believable, they think they make the lie more believable by being like giving out very specific
Yeah.
information. Where like so when they go into the room and Data's laying on the floor, and Laura gave Data the twitch that Laura's face had.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
And he says, "Look, his face is twitching just like his face always does," which it's something only a liar would say, because they want to say, "Look, see, I told you it's not me. I mean, it's not him. It's no way. Oh, I guess. See, I wouldn't be a very good lawyer because I would have accidentally said, "See, that's not me." And they'd be like, "Wait a second." But then again, this is supposed to be like an '80s horror movie, like a baby's '80s horror movie, and
Uh,
so and so none of the adults can believe the teenagers
yeah.
until the very end.
I actually like the movie as a horror movie. I just can't believe a couple of these like flaws. Like if they took them out, the movie would have been so
Yeah,
much better. The show, the episode would have been
yeah.
so much better.
There's one flaw that it doesn't look like a flaw. It's the kids. It's they have the drawings of the crystalline entity, which is the big enemy of the episode, and the kids on that planet had drawn the crystalline entity. But
Uh,
how did they have so much time that they were able to draw the crystalline entity? Because
um,
when it shows up, it should have just eaten everybody. So was it
yeah,
just sitting in orbit? Did it come down to say hello to everybody first?
I actually think it might have because of the way that it interacted with the starship, how it kind of
Mm-hmm.
took a while. I actually think it might have done that,
Yeah,
where it might have floated around.
yeah,
Especially since it's the first time it communicated with Lore. Like it probably
yeah,
was like still figuring out what the fuck it is he's saying.
yeah. I
That's
just wonder how
crazy.
Laura even found out about the crystalline entity.
I don't know. They probably had a
He,
way to like
he just
interact
did.
with the positronic brain
Oh yeah,
in a way that like Data couldn't because Data like was missing something Lore had.
yeah. I guess the answer is Laura's evil, and that's just how we knew.
Yeah. He's like he was created from the black sludge.
He may have made out of that tar monster.
Exactly. Dude,
That
also, um, yeah, do you remember that one? Like, there was like a one-liner at the end of the episode.
oh gee, I can't remember that.
Fuck. Oh yeah, where he was like, oh God, like before like they figure out a way to push him in or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, yeah, Data says something like, "Oh brother, you make me wish I was an only child."
Oh,
And then like, like he pushes him or something. I was like, oh
yeah.
my God.
You know what's weird is they transport him out into space, which is one of the only times they ever use the transporter as a weapon.
Uh-huh,
But then they
yeah.
just leave him there.
No,
Like, did
because
they forget?
remember
Did they
the
forget he's an?
transport. Yeah,
Did they forget he's an android? He's not
dude, dude,
dead.
dude, dude. Fucking, they transport him out, and Picard comes into the room because he's like, "What's going on?" And Wesley's like, Laura's gone forever." Wesley announced that, and how can you know that?
Well, it turns
Like,
out they
why
were
would
wrong
he?
because he comes back later in a
Well,
later
shouldn't
episode.
Data have been like, actually, no, we can't be sure of that? That
Let's go.
makes no
We need to
sense.
Yeah, just transport his head back onto the ship. We just need his head, just his head. Leave the rest of it. Actually, take the rest of his body and transport it into the core of the planet. And we just want his head. Just keep his head. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Uh,
really stupid.
Well, another thing I want to talk about is how people treat Data, and they're real jerks to Data. Remember, he told when he was showing Crusher his power button,
Yeah.
he said it's kind of like an Android alarm clock. And he says, "Was that funny?" And she said, "No, it wasn't, Data." Why does
It
she?
wasn't.
Why does she
It
got to
didn't
be
make
such a
sense.
jerk? Why does she have to be such a jerk about it?
It just didn't make any sense. I didn't get it. I was like, how is like an Android alarm clock? What?
Because it can turn them on and off. I guess. I
I
want
don't.
to say there's an episode where it somehow is an alarm clock, like you can turn them on a timer. I vaguely recall an episode about that. I might have just made that up in my head.
Turn them on at a timer. What do
Yeah,
you
I
mean?
might have made that up in my head because there's so many episodes.
I mean, there's that one episode he gets turned off where they have the trial on whether or not he's
Oh
alive or human
yeah. Do you
or
think that
whatever.
that seems like it would be considered assaulting the defendant in a case, just turning him off? And it's like think about a real case.
Oh, I know.
what if the plaintiff's lawyer said, "Here, watch this," and just shot somebody in the head? See,
Yeah,
they can be turned off.
like what if
Okay,
there was
bring
a
him back.
trial on like whether or not the black man
Yeah.
deserves to be a citizen, and then the prosecutor just shot him in the head.
Yes, that's an episode I would love to talk about uh, because that trial the trial is just it's just a free for all. They just do whatever they feel like in that episode.
I know,
It's just the most ridiculous thing.
I know.
There's no
And
rules to it.
people really like that episode, and I don't really know why.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was all that great.
yeah. That's the people are probably trying to keep people who've never seen Star Trek have no idea what we're talking about. Wait, what the trial and Datalore? No, the trial in Voyager about the EMH's rights to his holodeck program. I remember all of this. I remember so much of Star Trek. So all this reminds me of other stuff.
Oh God, I do too, but like I don't remember where it came from sometimes.
Yeah, I,
That's why I say like that one episode where there's a trial, but like I
yeah,
can't remember the name of the
yeah.
episode.
A let's call it a trials and tribulations, which was that was a real episode.
Yeah, I was about
Tribulation.
to say that sounds
It had
familiar.
yeah, it had triples in it, but that's not what this was called. A Measure of a Man. That's what
Oh
it
yeah,
was.
Measure of Man, that is it, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's season two,
the
right?
probably the dumbest part of Measure of a Man is that the judge says she's going to force Riker to be the lawyer for the
Oh
plaintiff
yeah.
side. And if he first off, that's a conflict of interest
Of
because
course it
if
is.
his side loses, then Maddox can say, "Well, Riker's Data's friend. He was obviously through the case, and he'd be
Uh,
correct." But the second dumbest part, well, they're equally dumb, is that if Riker doesn't do it, then she would automatically find in favor of the plaintiff, which sounds like something the Cardassians would do. It's like the state wants to do the state says you're not sentient, and we can't find a lawyer to be on our side, so we win. That's something the Cardassians would do.
well,
Nobody
like,
is.
okay, so um what was her reasoning for picking Riker to be on the opposite
Oh,
side?
because he was second in command of the Enterprise.
So there was no like
There was
it wasn't
no
like
there was
do you have
yeah
a
there
law
was
degree or
yeah there
something?
was he didn't have a law degree. He had no experience being a lawyer. He had no experience debating. It's just because they were out in space, and apparently it was so important, so vitally important at that very moment that the court case had to be done at that exact moment.
Oh yeah,
Every,
because didn't they want Data for something?
yeah, they wanted to take him apart to figure out how he worked. They don't explain why it has to be so fast that they can't go back to Earth or do something. Like in real life, cases take a really long time. Like there's a discovery, which is finding all the evidence, and then the lawyers have to create their arguments. And there's rules to it to make sure the whole thing's fair, and everybody can talk and everybody has their arguments and nobody's screaming over each other, which I want to say might happen in that episode because they just talk. It's just like they're arguing with each other.
Yeah, we
It's
gotta watch that episode and talk
it's just
about
it's
it.
just
It's definitely
it's
one we gotta do.
there's just no rules to it, and the judge has that weird bell thing. It goes dong. I don't know what that is, and then she was a terrible judge because she just lets anything happen. She let Riker assault Data by turning him off, and that was a weird thing. It's like Riker says, "I can turn off Data," which means he's not sentient, and all I can think of is, "Hey Riker, I can turn you off too. Want to see how I can do it? I know plenty of ways how to turn you off."
I know.
It was a terrible argument.
It's such a horrible argument, and like people thought that episode was like awesome, that
Yeah.
like proving that like Data was sentient. I'm like, oh my
And there's actually so there was actually already a real life lawyer a real life lawyer already reviewed the Measure of a Man, that particular part.
oh, he did.
Yeah,
I that one lawyer that's on
it's
YouTube. I don't
yeah,
watch
Legal
it, but
Eagle.
like I see him all the
Yeah,
time.
it's Legal Eagle. He did a review of the law in that particular
Is
case.
it funny?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll probably have to watch that then.
it's he does a whole bunch of episode or a bunch of videos about different TV and movie court
Yeah.
cases.
Well, I see him in my thumbnails a lot. I've only
Yeah,
watched like a couple, probably like a year ago or something.
yeah. And since we're off on a tangent onto Measure of a Man, in real life it would not go that fast. They'd probably go back to Earth. First, they'd have to establish if Starfleet even owns Data, because Data is not made by Starfleet.
Yeah.
He entered the academy just like everybody else.
Uh-huh.
He went through the academy just like everybody else. He graduated like everybody else. He was promoted like everybody else. And so if they declare that Data's property, then that means everybody else who is in Starfleet is also Starfleet's property. So all the and they would accidentally set a pretty bad precedent there if they were to rule that Data is Starfleet's property and they can do whatever they want with them, and nobody even questions it.
I know. It's so fucking stupid.
And it turns out he didn't need to do that anyway because the ship's computer can just make something smarter than Data at any moment. Just if a little kid ran past and said, "Make something smarter than Data," it would do it.
I feel like there was something more to the episode though. Is that something like he was gonna die from their experimentation, essentially?
Yeah, he was going to die from the
And
experimentation.
he's so stupid.
Yeah,
Like, what a stupid thing to do. Destroy the only thing that
yeah,
like can even like exist like this
yeah.
right now. Um, God, I had to say something else about Datalore though.
Hmm.
Is that fucking that's where like that one scene happens where everyone tells Wesley to shut up,
Yeah,
and like it sucks because he's right.
yeah,
Why couldn't it be a scene where he's wrong and he's just being obnoxious?
yeah. There
Why?
should have been one where he was wrong,
Yeah.
and then
And he's
later
just
he's
annoying
right,
everybody.
and so he's like, "Hey, wait a second, he's right this time."
Yeah.
But he's Wesley, and he's always right about everything.
Well, like Picard comes across as really dumb in
Yeah,
this fucking
they all
episode.
come
Like,
across as really dumb.
yeah, but him especially because he's like the captain. He's like,
Yeah,
huh?
that's because
You're still entity. What?
that's because this is secretly a horror movie, and all the adults are idiots, and the teenagers are all the ones who know what's really going on around
Oh,
here.
dude, and you know what else? Oh God. So there were like a couple scenes in this episode that for some reason came across as like almost like a
Yeah,
comedy movie.
yeah,
Like almost like it could have been a joke.
hmm,
There were so many scenes like that, but there was one where like when they go down the planet and he's like, "Well, I'd love to be on the away team, but I'm
yeah,
sure Riker would have
yeah,
a problem with that." Like I seriously thought Riker was gonna go, "No, I don't have a problem," and Picard
yeah,
was like, "Oh, it's against protocol if I go." Like it showed that he was actually scared to go or something.
yeah, yeah. That would have
I
been good. That
seriously
would have
was
been good.
expecting that.
So I remember I told you that made me think of a tangent for Stargate SG-1
Hmm.
because in Stargate SG-1 they actually have teams made specifically to go out through the
Hmm.
Stargate. So like the commander of the base is an old fat guy who obviously would not be able to go anywhere, even if he wanted to. And so they have specific teams that go out and do it, which 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 I think the next generation could have done. because it makes no sense to have an elderly man romp around on planets all the time. Elderly
Mm,
being Picard. It's always
yeah.
weird how the bridge crew goes out and does stuff, which makes me wonder if the bridge crew is out doing stuff, who's on the bridge of the ship? It
The
it
backup crew.
it seems that just by chance they always leave people on the bridge when they're needed, but when they're
Uh-huh.
not needed, everybody leaves.
Uh-huh.
So what if a Romulan warbird suddenly appeared?
Oh, dude.
But then everybody's tromping around on the planet. All the bridge crew are tromping around on the planet, just leaving Wesley up there to deal with it.
I don't know why, but like it was really noticeable to me that Troy wasn't there in Datalore.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
does that happen often in Star Trek?
yeah. There's some episodes like there's I can't remember one of the episodes. I can't remember which one it was. Like Picard isn't in it until the very end. He just shows up like for 30 seconds because it's
Oh,
probably
which
in
episode was that?
I cannot remember. It might have been one we talked about. I cannot remember though.
Wait, what? Really?
Maybe I can't. It's hard to remember.
Like, are
I
you thinking
somehow I
later
remember
season
every
or early
single
season?
what?
Are you thinking of like first season?
Yeah, I want to say we
Really?
talked about it,
Huh.
but I remember everything about Star Trek except whenever when anybody asks me questions about it. I can tell you everything about it, but then you say, "Oh, what kind of drink does Picard like?" And I'd think, "Oh boy, that's a tough one. I can't remember." But then I'd be able to say, "Oh, it's a Earl Grey tea, hot," just off the top of my head.
Uh-huh.
If I was just rambling on about it like I do now.
I'm like that with facts in general. Like I can ramble with facts, but if you ask me what
Yeah,
the capital of
yeah.
Belgium is, I'll be like, wait, hold up.
Oh, you know what? It wasn't a you know that was an episode we talked about. Uh, it was an episode where this was a way later, like season 7, where Troy was studying to be a bridge officer or
I do
something
not
like
remember
that.
this.
This is way later in
Yeah,
season 7. So we never talked about that one. I can't remember what episode that was or what happened in it,
I
and I
know.
just
I
watched it.
think I think that like most people like season seven, but to tell you the truth, I find season seven really
Hmm.
weak. So I don't rewatch a lot of season
Yeah,
seven.
you know what? I think Voyager and Enterprise, when they have good episodes, their good episodes
Hmm.
are better than most anything that was in the Next Generation. I
Especially
think.
Enterprise.
Yeah, but when they had bad episodes, they were just either
Yeah.
bizarre or
Well,
confusing.
the thing for me is like some of their bad episodes are really really boring.
Yeah,
Like just so boring where I'm just like the later episodes in Enterprise were so fucking dull.
yeah.
I just couldn't handle it.
Somebody pointing out the problem with Enterprise and Voyager is they never stuck to the premise.
No! Oh my God.
Like Voyager, so originally Voyager was supposed to be this thing where it was inspired by like the age of exploration in
Uh,
real life. And there's all these weird monsters that all these mythological things that exist out there. Which sometimes it happens in Voyager. Sometimes they come across weird things like the space pitcher plant. You
hmm.
remember that one?
No, unless I do, and
It
I'm
was
just not getting it from that.
it was the one where this plant tricks everybody to think they have a way home, but it's actually going to eat them.
Nice.
Well, but a lot of times Voyager was just the Next Generation all over again.
Well, that's the thing is that, like, for me, the premise was there's two groups of people on this ship that don't like each other.
Yeah,
How are they going to work together? Oh, they work fine.
yeah. I mean, the
Okay.
original premise wasn't that at all. It was like
That
somebody
was totally the premise. That's what they set it up as in the first
well
episode.
that no, I mean before they even showed anything for Voyager, like before it ever aired, when they were still like coming up with the idea for Voyager, somebody found an article about Voyager before it ever aired, and they were talking about how it was like the age of exploration and how there's going to be all these weird things and all this crazy stuff happening.
I mean, honestly, this just sounds like the next generation. or Star Trek in general.
Well, this would have been more like the way they described it would be more like they were going to find weird mythological creatures and all kind of stuff like that. Uh, it's I guess it's hard to describe the difference between TNG weird and the kind of weird I'm thinking of,
I mean, it could have been that, but
and that's not what
they
happened.
yeah, but I mean, they didn't really indicate that in any episode that
No,
that
they
would
didn't because
happen.
but they never really stuck to any premise.
Well, the thing is that the idea of two groups of people
Mm-hmm.
not working well together,
Yeah,
I found incredibly
yeah,
intriguing. So when I saw the first episode, I was completely on board, and then I
yeah,
was like bummed out when that never
and
came
then
up.
yeah,
It's like
and
it's so
since well, I
lame,
guess we're all
man.
friends now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
Star Trek has a problem with conflict. It's like Pulaski, oh, she fucking butts head with everyone. Let's get rid of her.
yeah,
Oh, two groups of people don't get along. Let's instantly make them get along. It's like it's okay if someone doesn't get along once in a while.
yeah. Actually, in TNG, it was Gene Roddenberry's rule there could not be conflict between
Yeah, yeah,
the main characters,
yeah. I remember seeing that somewhere.
which doesn't make any sense because people can't agree what restaurants to go to.
Yeah,
Obviously, no matter how enlightened they are, they're going to have disagreements about something.
yeah. I mean, that's why I like Pulaski because everyone just gets along
Yeah,
a little too well for me.
yeah.
So I just kind of want them to be
Oh,
like, annoyed by
yeah.
someone at some point.
Except for Starfleet admirals.
Oh yeah, they
Starfleet
butt heads with
admirals are
everyone,
always evil or they're always crazy.
and they're
It's
always like pompous too.
yes, every single one of them. They're all. I don't know what Gene Roddenberry had against admirals because he was in the U.S. Navy, so we must have really hated admirals. I don't
Well,
know
it
why.
seems like like people that were in the military
Hmm.
always declare that anyone that was above you treats you like shit.
Yeah,
That's like that's the main thing that I hear.
yeah. I think. I want to say what the worst episode of Star Trek any series is.
Hmm.
As of course, there's lots of bad episodes, but it's the one I was telling you about the other day
Hmm.
on Enterprise, where not a whole lot happens in this episode I'm thinking of.
Hmm.
So what did this one is? The chief engineer of Enterprise is sent over to an alien ship, and they do a lot of farting around.
Do you know what season this is from?
Season one,
Huh? Early or late?
yeah, early
Okay,
in
because
that,
yeah, the first few episodes aren't very good.
and they do a whole lot of farting around, like for a whole minute.
Hmm.
They're saying, "Hey, Trip, you need to get some rest," and he says, "Nah, I don't need rest." And they say, "You need to get some rest." "Nah, I don't need rest." "Come on, you need to get some rest." "No, I don't need rest." And he says, and they just keep doing that over and over until he finally says, "All right, let me go get some rest." And it's just that whole I don't get it. Well, they could have just skipped all of that and just had him. They could have just had him pass out, and then he wakes up fine. They didn't need all that other this whole pointless stuff. But I want to talk about the way that this oh boy that episode the I don't want to sound weird talking about it. It's I told you that was like an episode of Law and Order SVU
Yeah.
because this it is the most bizarre thing. Like the writers had to know what they were doing.
Oh God, I fucking hate that show. I just remembered the show. Like my brain spaced out
So
for a minute, but
here's what happens. First, she starts rubbing his face.
God, how did you watch that show?
First, she starts rubbing her face because I wanted to see where this was going because I thought it
Uh,
was right. And first, she starts rubbing his face, and she's feeding these things she claims is the closest they can get to water. Which, by the way, hydrogen is the most common element in the universe.
wait, what are we talking about right now?
Enterprise that Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh wait, why'd you mention SVU?
Oh, because that's what it felt like. It felt like
Oh, okay, okay.
that.
I thought you went into an SVU
No, no,
episode.
no, no, no.
I think.
No, SVU is all the exact same thing that happens over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
someone gets raped.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We're talking about Enterprise here. She and she has this electric feeling on it. She has these electric stuff coming out of her fingers.
Mm-hmm.
She gives him something that's like she says this is the closest thing we have to water, which makes absolutely no sense
Mm-hmm.
because water is hydrogen and oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Hydrogen is the most common element in the universe, and oxygen is the eighth most common element in the universe. It
Mm-hmm.
turns out that if you look at the periodic table, the order the elements are in, that's also the order of how common they are in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because hydrogen's the easiest element to make, and then each one going on is harder to make, or there's another step that has to be done to make it. So what I'm saying here is there's water everywhere. So here's the thing: she was when she said this is the closest thing we have to water, she was lying. They have water. She was drugging them because whatever this was, it was. He's like, oh, this is really good. I really
Uh-huh.
like this. This is amazing. Which is supposed to be just water, or close to water. She
Mm-hmm.
was obviously drugging him, and then she takes him down to the basement where all the cool video games are that his parents won't let him play. She
I
says,
don't
"Look
know
at
if
all
they're
this."
serious or not.
It's the holodeck. I'm
Oh,
trying
okay.
to say it's like she's being really creepy about it. If you think about, she's like think of her as
Yeah, she's acting like a pedophile.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the most bizarre thing because these are two adults and she's acting like he's 10 years old. It's the most bizarre thing. Why is right? The writers had to know what they were doing because there's a part where she says, "Oh, do you want to play a we want to play a game?" And she makes these pebbles appear, and she says, "It's kind of like a game. You want to play a game with me? If you don't tell anybody, it's an adult game though."
What?
And
She doesn't say
no,
that.
she doesn't say that
Oh
because
my God.
obviously that's too on the nose for the writers, even they wouldn't go that far. And it turns out that she tricks him into having sex with her by doing
Yeah.
that. He doesn't even know what happened.
Oh yeah, doesn't he get pregnant?
Yeah, he gets pregnant. He has no idea he had sex,
Yeah, okay, I remember that
which is how
episode a
this
little bit.
feels like.
Yeah.
Like this is why I think it feels like he's 10 years old
Uh-huh.
because he like if that actually happened, he would have no clue what the hell was going on.
He probably would have been down too.
Yeah, well, maybe actually he was because she says, "Oh, you like it when people find you attractive, don't you?" And he says,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I do like it, or do like it when women find me attractive." It's the most bizarre thing because the whole time she's acting like he's a little kid and she's ruining him. And that's why I was saying it's like an episode of Law and Order SVU. I was waiting for the dun dun thing to start going off, where he walks into the SVU offices with his dad, Captain Archer. It's
Oh
just
God, I know this is totally besides the point, but I fucking hate that dun dun thing because when I used to scroll through like
mhm.
network TV and I'd see that, it was like dun dun, and I
Yeah,
was like, oh cool, Law and Order, but then it was that shitty SVU, and I'd
yeah,
be like, you
and then
fucking
but
make a mockery.
but again it gets worse.
Yeah.
It gets worse than this woman tricking Trip and the chief engineer into having sex with her,
Mm.
and he had no clue he even did it because like you said, he gets pregnant and everybody treats it as a joke that he got tricked into having sex.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just and they obviously did it with Trip because they couldn't do it with a
With a
woman.
female.
Yeah, they would not.
Yeah,
That
it would have been awkward.
yeah, that would have been. It's a man, so it's okay.
Well, I also feel like it's partly because it's Trip, and he was so obnoxious, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I just hated him,
Uh huh.
but he gets a little better later. But
Yeah.
yeah,
This episode. Oh, that reminded me. This episode has the dumbest line I've ever heard in Star Trek,
yeah, it was.
which I'll get to. It's well, first off, somehow Doctor Phlox figures out that these protrusions on Trip's. I have no idea what his actual name is. Everybody calls him Trip in the show.
I didn't think he really had an actual
Okay.
name.
But Dr. Flox just looks at these protrusions and he says, "Oh yeah, those are nipples." Like he doesn't he likes look at it for a second. He says, "Those are nipples." Like
Yeah.
I have bug bites that look like nipples. How did he know those were nipples? And here's the problem with that: men have nipples already. Like they don't work, they don't do anything,
Sure.
but they have nipples. So why are nipples growing on him when he has two perfectly good ones that could
Well, he
start
needs
working?
more.
Yeah, I guess. And why are they on his wrist? Of all the
Wait, did he
places.
ever give birth to the thing?
No, they took it off and put him to somebody else off screen. And now the weird thing is, Doctor Flock says, "Well, it doesn't have your genetic code; it just has hers," which which makes me which I was hoping at the end of the episode they would have shown up and she said, "What the hell are you talking about? Pregnant? No, there's a parasite in you." And everybody thinks he was pregnant. No, he just got a parasite
Oh
from.
my God, that would have been hilarious.
It's like, oh, you guys thought I was pregnant. It was just a parasite, just a chest burster. Because it starts out in his chest,
So that makes it even worse. It's like not
but
even his DNA.
yeah, it's a parasite. It doesn't have his DNA in it, so it's a parasite. But of course they have to throw their punches at women, figurative punches at women, because he's pregnant. So of course he acts like a pregnant woman that's on a sitcom.
Oh God, is his feet sore and shit?
Uh, I don't know if he does that, but he's always hungry. He's always eating, and he wants weird stuff. And he's crying,
Oh
and he's really
God.
worried about safety. And the safety part is where the dumbest line
Oh
in
Jesus.
Star Trek. This is the dumbest line in Star Trek history. They have an elevator engineering, which was poorly designed because if you put your hand on the railing and you keep it there, your fingers get cut off as the elevator goes
That is
up.
a horrible design.
Yeah. And he's talking to somebody about it. He says, "Look at this. My fingers could get cut off." And the guy he's talking to says, "Why would anybody put their hand on the railing? Why would
D-
anybody put the hand on the
And we're
railing?"
we're supposed to like be on his side.
Yeah, the guy, like the dumb guy, he says, "Why would anybody use a railing when there's a railing there? I'm not going to touch the railing." But the stupid thing is, the railing, they have to touch the railing to get into it because
Yeah.
it's also keeping like people from getting underneath the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, this like Trip is right. Like that's the dumbest. That's a terrible design. And that guy who says nobody would ever use the railing is an idiot. And whoever wrote that line is the dumbest person
Like,
in
okay,
Star Trek
when they wrote
history.
that line, do you think that we were supposed to think he's an idiot, or were we supposed to be on his side?
No, we were supposed to be on that guy's side against
Yeah,
Trip
that's really dumb.
because obviously one of the writers had a pregnant wife at the time,
Yeah.
and obviously he was going after her in this episode. That's the only explanation. It's like I wonder if that guy, like when he goes upstairs, does he do the 2 foot thing? Like, oh,
Oh.
I'm not going to use the railing. I'm too strong. Or does he say, let's get all these railings off of this walkway? We don't need them. We'll just jump off. I don't even know what I don't even understand what the elevator in the engineering is for. It can only hold like 2 people, like if they're really pushed up against each other. And there's
Um,
stairs right next to it. The stairs are right next to it. And it's engineering, so it's unlikely anybody who needs to use an elevator is going in there.
well, maybe it's for people who don't have legs, but they're a damn great engineer.
Yeah, but nobody ever uses it that doesn't have legs. So I don't know. Most of the times they don't use it. In my opinion, it's a
It's a
massive
hell of a
safety
set
hazard.
piece.
In my opinion, it's a massive safety hazard. And they have to have all these bars to keep people from accidentally walking underneath it while it's up. And of course, when it's down, there's a hole in the floor that people could fall through. And they have to have these bars around it. Like, just don't have the elevator. You don't need the elevator.
But it doesn't have a door, right?
It doesn't have a door. It has bars.
Yeah.
It's the bars that apparently you're not supposed to touch.
Yeah, when was the last time you seen Voyager or Enterprise?
I've been watching some episodes of Enterprise yesterday and today.
Ah, damn. See, damn it. It's been so long since I've seen Enterprise, man. It's been like 7 years.
I've been sailing the high seas to watch Enterprise.
See, like the thing I watch randomly is Voyager
Hmm.
because Enterprise is so sequential for
Yeah.
me.
Oh, I think the best part of Voyager is how the characters aren't all a bunch of jackasses all the time. Like there's the episode where the Doctor is daydreaming.
Mm.
Do you remember that one where he's daydreaming that he saves the day when Tuvok goes to the pond far?
Ah, I
It's the
don't
one where the
think so.
Doctor's singing a song about what to do now that Tuvok has the pond far. He's singing like a classical song. He's taking a classical song and then singing words and singing his own words to it about how to knock out Tuvok, and he wants to save the day.
Yeah.
It's a daydream.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what'd you say before that? You said the characters are what?
They're not a whole bunch of jackasses all the time.
Oh, they're
There's
not. I
yeah, they're not.
freaking
I don't
the
think they
one.
are. Like like sometimes they are for absolutely no reason. But it
Yeah.
seems like in TNG, a lot of the characters except for Riker are jackass. Like when Riker's a jackass, that's really out of character for him. Like Riker seems like the kind of guy like he would show up to your house and say, "Hey, come on! I know your parents told me we can't go to that favorite pizza place of yours, but we're gonna go there. We're gonna get you some beer. We're gonna get you some pizza. You're gonna get drunk. It's gonna be awesome." He's somebody's cool uncle.
Really? You think that about Riker? See, to me, he
Yeah,
always seems so like strict in a way.
that's no. I think that's out of character for him. Like he does not seem like a strict
Oh, he
guy.
always seems like down to business. He never gets distracted by anything. He's
That
always like the man who's like in control.
he to me he seems like somebody's cool uncle.
Maybe I don't know because you never even really see him outside of the job. Like you kind
Yeah,
of have glimpses
yeah. That's what I'm talking
of
about.
how
Like
someone would be outside of the job, but not really with him.
yeah, the thing is most of the time, like the most memorable parts are when he's being a jackass to somebody.
Like
But most
what?
of the like when he's just being when he's just being mean to
When does he
Wesley.
be mean to anyone?
He was mean to Wesley in this episode, Datalore. Remember? He was
Yeah, but
mad.
everyone was.
Yeah, well, yeah. So see, out of character because it was very out of character. I I think that people get a bad impression about Riker because the most memorable parts are when he's out of character.
Yeah, why can't I think of that one character from Voyager that's super annoying?
Neelix,
Yes, God.
he
How
was
do you feel about him, man? He ruined so many episodes for me.
he seemed like a cat. He looked like a cat, and he
They should
acted
have
like
just
a
made him a
cat.
fucking cat. Like
Yeah,
he was so annoying.
they should
His
have made
fucking
him. They should have made
voice.
him a CG talking cat. That would have been so
Yeah.
awesome for like a mid-90s sci-fi show because it would
Oh
have
yeah,
looked
the CG would have
horrible.
been great.
Yeah, that would have looked horrible. But then everybody would have thought, "Whoa, look at this! Look at this CG cat. He's made out
Well,
of
well,
10 polygons."
the thing with Neelix is that like he was kind of like Wesley, where he kept solving problems,
Yeah,
where he really had no business solving problems. Where I was
yeah,
like, can you please let the military people handle this, you
yeah.
asshole?
Well, you have to use his plucky charm to save the day.
Yeah, he has no charm. That character is horrible. And as far as I can tell, everyone agrees with me. It seems like most people really dislike him, so it begs me to question why they had him on the show. It seems like no one liked him.
Well,
I
they
mean, do
need.
you like him? Are you like a
I,
Neelix
I, I
fan?
can I can barely remember him. I just remember that people thought he was annoying, but I don't remember a
Oh
whole
God,
lot.
you're so lucky you don't remember him because I have these horrible memories of him and I want him to go away.
I think he was supposed to be comedy relief,
Yeah, but he wasn't funny. He was just
but
whiny.
then but then they but then like one of the writers accidentally started writing good for the other characters, so they weren't like the doctor. Like he
Yeah,
start like the doctor starts out being just kind of annoyed by everybody,
yeah,
but then as
which kind
time
of
goes
makes it
on,
funny.
he becomes a character. He becomes an actual character.
Well, he's almost like the comic relief too
Yeah,
because he is funny.
oh, there's that episode where the doctor makes his own holodeck program. Do you remember that one?
You'll have to say what more happens to it.
There
I do
that is
remember
the
a
one
few
where
in
there was a
holodeck.
try there was a trial about his rights over the holodeck program.
Fuck no, I don't think I saw that episode at all.
Which
Because yeah,
complete
my watching of Voyager is really splotchy.
yeah.
I've seen like all of like the first two seasons, and
It,
then
it's the one where he makes the holodeck program is about it isn't about Voyager, but it really is. And the person who goes into it, they get to go through Voyager, and it's all these characterizations of the people on Voyager, and nobody on the ship likes it. Do you remember that one? You
no,
don't
I
remember that at
don't.
all?
I haven't seen that. I must not have
So
seen that.
I guess what I really wanted to say about this was that I don't know if the writers knew it or not, but they actually invented a video game genre in this episode that is popular today, and it's the walking simulator. Because what's interesting is the doctor specifically calls the user of that holodeck program a player, so he considers this a game.
Mhm.
And what it is these people just go through each event that happens, and they have to whatever happens they have like they don't have any agency over what happens. Just whatever happens is supposed to happen, which is what happens in a walking simulator. And they see all these different set pieces and all these different events that happen, and it reminded me of a walking simulator. And I'm just really surprised that writers for middle-aged writers for a 90s sci-fi TV show would somehow manage to accidentally make a video game genre that wouldn't exist for like at least 10 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, especially in Enterprise. They which started in 2001. They apparently don't predict video games
What do you mean?
because they don't have video games in Enterprise. They have
Oh yeah,
books.
no, they
They
also
have
don't have
books.
television.
They don't apparently they don't have music. I don't recall anybody listening to
They
music.
have music. Picard has listened to some classical
Well,
before.
not Picard on Star
You
Trek
said
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Yeah, Star Trek Enterprise. The
God,
last
Archer never listened to anything.
no, I don't think he did. He watched water polo on a 4:3 screen. Yeah, that's weird. They all have there's a whole bunch of 4:3 screens. They actually
But yeah,
did.
I do know they specifically even had that one episode in season one. I know it's the Next Generation, but where they say they got rid of television.
Yeah,
They
but
specifically said they got rid of it.
I'm talking
And
about video games.
I know you're talking about video games, bro, but my point it
Yeah,
stands to reason that they just never had video games either.
yeah, but they do with the holodeck
Well, you just
because that
I'm
that essentially replaces. Now the holodeck, the way they do it though, is very bizarre. Like there's no original programs for the holodeck. They always
yeah.
take a book and they just turn
Well,
that
it's
into a holodeck thing.
exactly. It's
The,
like the universe they created
yeah,
is more about plays and books than
yeah. It
anything
doesn't make
else.
any it doesn't make any sense that somebody would want to do this exactly as it happened when they're supposed to be in it. Because like when you read a book, you're not unless you're reading a choose your own adventure book. I don't even know if those exist anymore. Uh, you're not
I'm sure they
pretending
do. I
you're
just
not
think they're for
pretending
kids.
you're the person in it. Like a second person book is extremely rare.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's either first or third person, and you're not pretending to be the person in it. You're reading about another person or other people. But then they take these books and turn them into holodeck programs where they replace one of the main characters, but they don't actually change anything about it. So unless somebody knows exactly what's supposed to happen, the program won't make any sense because it happens in the Sherlock Holmes episodes where they have to go exactly by how the book went,
Yeah.
but there's nothing guiding them that way. They have to know in advance what to do, which I guess everybody loves replaying books in the future. Like you might have a favorite game you play a lot, but in Star Trek they just replay books all the time.
Yeah.
It's I guess in 1987 that made sense. Like video games as we know them didn't exist in 1987, obviously. And it turns out you can't just take a movie or
Yeah,
a
but
book and turn it
video
into a video
games still
game.
existed. It is kind
Yeah,
of weird
they
that they
existed in
incorporate.
1987, but
They, I think,
nobody that was writing for Star Trek in
yeah, they
1987 had
fucking
ever played
just
a game.
that was considered something like dumb kids
Yeah,
did.
yeah, and it turns out you can't just take a book or a movie and turn it into a video game because it always turns into crap.
Hey, dude, we gotta pick out the next
Yeah.
episode you want to watch.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
looking.
gee, I don't know.
I'm trying to look at I'm also looking at a Voyager just in case. But I don't
When?
know. I'm kind of looking at
Yeah.
season 1 of The Next Generation to see
Hmm.
if there's anything else. Um, I don't know. We can also skip to like season 3
Hmm.
because it's been a while since I've watched anything from
Yeah.
season 3. I've seen Evolution
Yeah.
recently. Um, do you have any ideas on season 3?
I have no idea. I don't even remember what's in season three.
Uh, Booby Trap.
I don't remember.
Uh,
I don't remember that one. You can pick one. I don't remember anything, so you can just pick one that you might remember.
I don't remember Booby Trap, which is kind of why I want to watch it.
Okay. Okay, let's watch that
Because
one.
like all the episodes we watched are episodes that like I actually sort of remember.
Yeah, let's
So,
watch that one.
all right, I'll probably remember it as I
Yeah.
watch. But like, yeah. So that's the episode. Which episode is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Episode 6, Booby Trap of
Okay.
season 3.
Season three, episode six. All right.
All right, I better watch that before my
Yeah.
Amazon Prime thing fucking quits out.
Hmm. If you watch it on your, well, that's right. You said your laptop is acting up, isn't it?
Yeah, oh God, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
I think that's why.
if you ever get a new laptop, I can tell you how to watch everything.
Oh, it's not that. It's not because it's acting up. It's because I don't have a way to watch it on the big screen.
Oh, okay.
So I get one that had HDMI support, which I probably will when I do
Okay.
get a new laptop. So,
Okay. Oh,
all right, man, I gotta go back to sleep.
okay. Okay.
Tired as hell.
When you're sleeping, I want you to dream about all the public domain music and movies that are shown in Star Trek.
All
Somebody was
right.
asking that on Reddit. Why do they always play jazz and classical music? Because it was all public domain. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well,
All right.
goodbye, everybody that was listening.
Goodbye. I'll talk more when we talk about Booby Trap.